Our first storyteller tonight, you actually may have seen her here a few weeks ago. She was with the Moth main stage at the Summer Festival. I think, what was that, 3 weeks ago? Somewhere around there. She's also a singer-songwriter and a professor at WMU. I also, on a very personal note, I want to thank her husband, John, for allowing her to be here on their 5th wedding anniversary. Right, that's tonight. So when I asked her to do this event, she was like, I don't know, I got to check if it's cool with my husband. And then it was totally cool with her husband. So thank you, John. Please welcome to the stage, Allison Downey.
So I'm holding my brand new baby, Michael, for the very first time. And my husband, John, has his arms draped around the two of us. And I feel this unbelievable joy and then this rush of relief that Michael is, in fact, a baby. Because my entire pregnancy, he seemed so much more powerful than me, and it was really intimidating. Even as dividing cells, he would make me throw up on command. And so it just got worse from there, to the point where I started to worry that I wouldn't know how to mother such a powerful being. But I'm holding him, and he's just a little teeny tiny baby. He's completely dependent on me, and my maternal instinct kicks in, and I know that it's my job to protect him and to take care of his every need. Well, after about 3 months of round-the-clock hourly feedings, John and I are a little bit sleepy and a little bit crabby, and we have both retreated to our equal and opposite extremes. And I'm a performer and an academic, and John is also a musician, but he primarily works as a behavioral psychologist. Now, generally, I don't hold that against him. However, when he suggests applying his crackpot theories to our defenseless little baby, I have to intervene. And I think the conversation goes something like this. John says, "Sweetie, this exhaustion is killing us. Some babies his age are sleeping through the night. I think we should consider sleep training." Sleep training? He's a baby! He's not a rat for your evil science experiment. And the conversation degenerates from there to John reminding me that he does have a PhD in this, and they don't just give those away. And my reminding him that his PhD is irrelevant, because I am Michael's mother, and I know best. Wasn't I the one that diagnosed Michael's milk allergy when he was only 5 days old, and the doctors thought I was crazy, but my maternal instinct was right? And this is how our fierce debate of nature versus nurture begins, or as I thought of it, maternal instinct versus cruel, heartless science. But after another particularly brutal night, we broach the subject again. And John explains that at 3.5 months, Michael no longer physically needs round-the-clock feedings. He's crying because he knows we'll pick him up. Our attention is positively reinforcing his behavior, but if we remove the reinforcer, our attention, he'll stop the behavior, the crying. And I don't believe that Michael is capable of manipulation at this age, but I am desperate. And so I agree to try what is commonly called the cry-it-out sleep training method. So, Michael is wailing in his room, and I am on the living room floor in the fetal position, rocking because his cries are like daggers stabbing into me. I'm physiologically connected to his well-being. I see all these women nodding their heads, yes. And he cries louder, and it stimulates my milk production, and I'm squirting all over the living room, and I'm begging John to make it stop. And of course, he wants it to stop too, but for the long term. And he says, if we go in now, we make it worse. We're basically telling Michael that if he cries louder and longer, he can get whatever he wants. And then Michael stops crying. And I can see that maybe John was right. Maybe. Until he uses the word extinction. See? It only works if we follow the rules of extinction to the letter. Extinction? Yeah, extinction. It's the scientific term for completely removing the reinforcer. Extinction? He's a baby! He's not a dinosaur! Michael starts crying again. End of experiment. I run in his room to find him swimming in a puddle of vomit. He had vomited all over himself, and John and I are horrified. Extinction did this to him. See, there's no manipulation here. He needed me. Maternal instinct 1, cruel, heartless science 0. And for about the next year and a half, maternal instinct wins about the lion's share of points, especially when we learn that Michael has not only eczema and not only is allergic to milk, but he's allergic to basically everything, which makes him constantly itch and leaves him waking up at night itching. So sleep training, aka cruel, heartless science, could never work for Michael while he has these allergies. It would only torture him. But then Michael turns 2. And he's a phenomenal toddler. He's funny and smart and creative, and he looks just like John. This ivory skin and soulful blue eyes and this white blonde hair, and they even have the same bald spot. And John has been traveling a lot ever since he started his new job, and we're missing each other terribly. And it's wearing on Michael, I can tell, because he started to act out, and he's waking me up at night begging for yet another bottle of his precious soy milk that he has named Mimi. So I'm running on fumes, but we're overall having a really sweet time together. And we're playing in the park and making cookies, and for a special treat, I make us a fancy dinner for just the 2 of us. And I'm dishing out my organic chicken and rice and veggies, and I look up to find Michael flinging his very expensive allergy-friendly dinner all over the burgundy shag rug like he was Jackson Pollock flinging paint. Because I said, "Michael, what are you doing?" And he looks at me totally innocently and says, "Accident, Mama." No, baby, that's no accident. You mean to do that. An accident is when you do something you don't mean to do. And he thinks, he starts throwing his food again. "Accident, Mama, accident." No, that's not, that's bold, in-my-face lying. That's clear breakage of rules and culinary etiquette. And my brain is telling me, not to stifle his creative spirit, but my natural maternal instinct wants to rip off his arm. And that is frowned upon, so I need to come up with another tactic. Time out, in your room. And Michael's had maybe 1 or 2 times out in his entire life, so this should be really hard for him. But he's prancing to his room like I'm sending him to Willy Wonka's chocolate factory, and I have 2 minutes to figure out what I'm going to do next. And John has told me that punishment is defined by its outcome, so it's only a punishment if the unwanted behavior then stops. But Michael is singing in his room, which doesn't bode well for the success of my punishment, and I don't want to break his spirit, but people don't throw their dinners. So I need to come up with something more reinforcing to him than throwing his dinner. Helping. He loves to help. Timer goes off. Michael hops out of his room. "Baby, I need your help. Let's clean up the rice together, Michael and Mama, okay?" "Okay, Mama." And we're on the floor on our hands and knees picking up rice, and Michael slows down. And I see that instead he is mashing the rice into the carpet, making this kind of sticky, crumbly paste that I can already tell will be impossible to clean up. I say, "Michael, you need to clean this up." And he stands up and looks at me without flinching, as if he were the one that was 3 times my size instead of the other way around, and says, "No, Mama, you clean up." What? The little bastard! People don't talk to their mother this way. And I'm flashing back to when I'm pregnant with him and he's kicking me around in my organs. And I need to have some control over this situation. This behavior needs to stop. And diplomacy didn't work, and I can't negotiate with terrorists. I need sanctions. "Okay, Michael, you are going to bed without your bath tonight." And he smiles at me. "Okay then. No stories." And he moves his foot forward, about to crush another piece of rice. And I say, "Michael, you have given me no choice. No Mimi. Mimi! I want my Mimi!" And he collapses on the floor at the thought of losing his precious bottle of Mimi. And I am elated. I won, I broke him, I beat the 2-year-old. And then my humanity starts to return, and my great sense of victory wanes as I realize that I am celebrating crushing my own baby's spirit. And I am so sad for him, but the punishment matches the crime, and the consequences are really hard. So hard that I don't have to be, and I calm down. And I get what it must be like for him to have his life constantly controlled by someone else, and this drive to find a chink in their armor and wrestle back some control. And I say, baby, I know this is hard, I'm sorry, but no Mimi tonight. And as I rock him, he eventually stops crying and falls asleep. The next day I'm on the phone with John, who's giving me a pep talk, and we're dealing with some crisis that's keeping me from giving Michael my full attention. And I turn around to find him balancing on the back of the couch, about to go headfirst into the stone mantle. And I say, Michael, get down from there. And he leans out even farther and looks back at me for my reaction. And this is a safety issue, so it's my job to protect him. So I just grab him and I say, immediate timeout. In my womb? No, on the bed. On the couch. And I'm putting him down on the cushion when he looks up at me and says, Mama, I like it when you're angry. What? You like it when I'm angry? And I have 2 minutes to figure out what to do with this new intelligence, and I really need to talk to John about it, but I can't have that conversation in front of Michael, so I gotta call him back. He likes it when I'm angry? Does he think I get angry a lot? Is it the control thing again? He wants to get a rise out of me? And then I remember. If he likes it when I'm angry, then every time I get angry, I'm positively reinforcing his bad behavior. So I need him to not see that I'm angry. I need extinction. I need extinction. Timer goes off. Michael hops back up to the top of the couch, careening for the emergency room, and I'm about to grab him when Mama's getting angry. And I freeze. Extinction. But this is dangerous. I gotta protect him. But it's also my job to take care of his needs, and he clearly needs boundaries, so I can't have him see that I'm angry, but I can't give in to his tactics or he'll do it again, and I have to give him a sense of some control over the situation. So, Mama's getting angry. No, I'm not, baby. I'm not angry at all. I love you, and I don't want you to hurt yourself. And I feel like I'm talking him down from the ledge. Mama's not angry? No, baby, I'm not angry. But I do need to talk to Dada. So why don't you sit down and I'll sit with you, and when I'm done we can play, okay? And he stops, he thinks, he sits down. Mama's not angry? No, baby, okay? Okay, Mama, sure. And with my arm around my equally powerful and fragile little 2-year-old, I call John back, who wants to know what happened. And I say, well, basically about 1 billion points for behavioral science. And he laughs and said, well, if I just got 1 billion points, then the debate's over. We both win. Thank you.
One more time for Allison Downey.